Hey, good morning, Georgia. I'm Tim Eccles, Vice Chair of the Georgia Public Service Commission, coming to you from my office here at the Capitol. And Faith, where are we going today?
We're in Norcross today. They're in Gwinnett County.
Yeah, and I moved to Norcross in 1992 in Old Town Norcross, and we had a number of babies there, raised our young kids there, and we're going to talk with Eric. Thrasher Park was a go-to for our family. We lived at 166 North Barton Street, uh, Eric. So we'll be talking to of Eric Johnson, the city manager for Norcross, and special shout out to Craig Newton, the mayor there. So welcome, Eric.
Good morning.
Hey, we're going to talk with Jeff Goodyear as well. He works for United Consulting in Norcross there on Holcomb Bridge about a homeless project that he participated in. And Jeff, really looking forward to hearing about the project.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll leave Casey McClure in the screen, drop everyone to the green room. Casey, we started with the Unholy Tour. Wow, it seems like forever ago. Did you ever think that, that the Unholy Tour, I mean, you probably thought it was crazy when we did it, but it really has been a fantastic thing to bring the community together, the community that works in this space, and also really to launch your organization forward as well, because you've been my MC on every one that I've ever done.
Yeah, and that I really appreciate you bringing survivors to the table, and your heart for this and just raising awareness about it just tells me a lot about your credibility and that you have a good heart and that you really care about this issue. And we really appreciate you talking about it all the time and bringing everybody and connecting people to really make an impact in Georgia and across the U.S.
Well, thank you. Faith's got a few questions because we want to learn more about Forcera and kind of get an update on the work. Go ahead, Faith.
Yeah, so Casey is with Forcera, which is her organization, her ministry. Casey, tell us about what it is that you do, just an overview of what it is that you do with Forcera.
So Forcera is a survivor-led organization. I've shared before my story, and I can't talk about Forcera without sharing where God pulled me out of. And I have been out of that industry for 18 years. And through that, we started outreach and just going into strip clubs, into the clubs that I worked in and other girls that are helping us have worked in. And so we get the opportunity to go in there and just kind of love on the girls. And then through that, we realize that there's a need for housing. And so the housing opportunity opened up for us in 2013. And we started just really asking and praying, what would that look like? And a church in Conyers, First Baptist Church of Conyers, stepped up and provided us with a property with like 2.5 acres and a little house. And so we're able to put pregnant women on there and on the property. It's a small house, but we are able to kind of transition them away from their pimp, away from a bad situation, and just give them time to, for the next 90 to 120 days to kind of figure out what they want to do as a mother. And that's what we get to do at the assessment house. And then we also have a scholarship program because I was a high school dropout, and several of the girls that we come in contact with are high school dropouts. And so we just try to encourage them to go back to school, to just think about what they can do outside of this industry.
So at the assessment house, your program, how long would a girl be in your program for? Is there a set amount of time that they have to spend with you? Is there a limit to that time?
Unfortunately, it is a limit at the assessment house, but we do try to follow them after they leave the assessment house and continue to give them that one-on-one care. Because when they come to us, sometimes they're 9 months pregnant and they've never even been to the doctor. So they'll come to us. They don't have any baby items. They don't have any diapers, any wipes, just the basic needs to be a mother, but they want to be a mom. So they come to us and we just try to provide them that temporary safe place while they are transitioning from giving birth until the next phase in their transition out of the industry.
So obviously the needs for your ministry are baby items. And are there any other, do you need household goods, things like that? Do you have like a an Amazon wish list or some way that people can contribute things or financially contribute to your ministry?
So we do not have a wish list, but we do have a list of items that we always need on our website. If someone goes to forsarah.net, and that's the number 4, and then Sarah, SARAH.net, you can go under our donations page and you can see a list of items that we currently need. And it's also for outreach items. So bags that we make care bags for the women when we go into the clubs or do the street outreach. We need items for that. And we also need items just for the women in general when they're coming to us and they don't have any personal care items. So those are always things that we need. And sometimes churches get together and do like ladies groups and they collect these items for us. And we appreciate it because it's always an ongoing need.
So last question, if someone wants to get involved, wants to volunteer with your ministry, how would they get connected and what are the volunteer opportunities with Forsarah?
Well, we always need volunteers. A lot of times people just want to do strip club outreach and that's fantastic, but we actually need care team volunteers. And that consists of spending time with the girls, investing in their life, sometimes babysitting their children, because a lot of times they come to us and they don't have any family support. We become their family and they rely on us like we're aunts or grandparents because we're filling that void. And so we need volunteers that are caring and that will be willing to invest in their life in not just a short time, but in a long time, and also actually invest in their life and their children's life.
Casey, thank you so much for coming on with us. I texted Casey at 7:15 this morning while she's on vacation because the guest that we had lined up for human trafficking today had a family emergency. So Casey is always right there anytime we need her. And Casey, I just really appreciate your heart for the ministry and for everything that you do in partnership with us and letting us help you out with your ministry.
Well, I appreciate y'all. And thank you for having me again. And I'll be on here anytime I'm available.
Thanks, Casey.
Bye.
Thanks, Casey. Have a good day. Wow, Faith. I hope folks will go to Forsarah, the number 4sarah.net at the bottom of our screen and make a contribution to them today. Such a difficult work. Eric, were you familiar with Forsarah, the organization Casey runs?
Well, a little bit, but not to that extent. So I've learned a lot just being here today.
Well, it's great to have Eric Johnson. He's the city manager for Norcross. You heard, if you joined us a few minutes ago, that I used to live in Norcross on Barton Street. It was just a wonderful time in my very young family in 1992. We lived in Norcross from 92 to 97. And it really is, just a wonderful city, not too far from the interstate. I mean, I know folks, they see the Norcross exit, Jimmy Carter Boulevard, Beaver Ruin Road, but the city of Norcross, Eric, is really a quaint place, isn't it?
It is. And I was fortunate to be here just in time for us to celebrate our anniversary. COVID prevented us from celebrating our 150th. So back in October, we celebrated 150 plus 1. But it's old. We've got a elm tree that's the oldest elm tree in Georgia that is here downtown, and it's at least 175 years old. But there are people that think it may be as old as 300. So we've been around for a while, and that tree's seen a lot of change over the years.
When I moved to Norcross, I really got my politics started in Norcross, Eric. I was appointed to the mosquito committee by one of the city councilmen. And our job was to figure out why there were so many mosquitoes in the city and to come up with a recommended solution that the city council might adopt. So we were talking to Department of Ag people. We were walking around the city and we found that there was a house that had about 100 old tires in the backyard and probably 500 hubcaps that were turned over that all contained water.
Just enough water.
We took a sample of these And sure enough, there was mosquito larvae just everywhere.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so that was how I got my start. I then ran a campaign for a buddy who ran for city council. He won. His name was Andre Debsky. He served 3 terms, I think. He was just a great guy, and we spent $800 on that campaign. And he was running against like a 6-term former council member, a 2-term former council member, and we just adopted this door-to-door strategy, and it worked. And he won the runoff by 14 votes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, Eric, tell us a little bit about this new lead library that
Sure.
you built.
Well, we're excited. It was a joint project between Gwinnett County and the city of Norcross, and we had a library. We had, I think, the busiest library in Gwinnett County, and this is one of those projects that takes years to come to fruition. But the city participated with the county for a couple of reasons. One is we wanted the park, the library, to be on one of our main parks, Lillian Webb Park, which is just off of Buford Highway. And so the city contributed for 2 reasons. One is to fit a 22,000 square foot library on 1.6 acres next to the park required us to put the parking under the library. And so we used some of our sales tax dollars from SPLOS to help accommodate the underground parking, or the at-grade parking, I guess. But also we wanted to have the library meet LEED standards. And so we contributed in order to ensure that the library would be compatible with the city of Norcross's commitment to sustainability. But you're seeing some pictures, and it's interesting how libraries keep reinventing themselves in terms of how can they better serve the community. So you're looking at a library that has 40 computer stations, 3 learning labs, a collaboration room that seats up to 10 people, a meeting room with a capacity for 120 people. And just to show how modern it is, there are Amazon lockers within that library as well. So if you need to pick up something from Amazon, you can have your delivery there.
That's really cool.
Wow, I haven't heard about Amazon lockers. Okay, this is a first, Faith. This is very cool. And you guys, and I'm kind of having you double as my clean energy guest today,
Yep.
Eric, but you guys did this with sustainability in mind, and you've got some recognition for
Yes.
other sustainability measures you've taken, haven't you?
Well, we have a lot of citizens who work on a variety of committees, and one of them is Sustainable Norcross, and they're very heavily involved in a variety of things. We're a tree city, a bee city, but we had a recycling program that last year along those lines, where literally people were looking in the recycle containers to figure out how we could clean up our recycling stream. But the result of all those various efforts is that in January, the Atlanta Regional Commission recertified us as a green community, and specifically as a platinum green. So I think this year, as they went through their evaluation process, that we had more items that we scored on than any of the platinum. And there's only a few that reached that level, but we embrace everything platinum or everything green, and resulting in that platinum certification. And the library is part of that, but a lot of other activities. And I'll congratulate you on what you did with the mosquitoes, because I spent much of my life down in Florida, and I'll tell you, I've seen hardly any mosquitoes in Norcross since I've been here. So thanks for that.
You eradicated them, Commissioner.
I think so.
Wow. When I think about my legacy, I didn't really want it to be mosquitoes, but maybe that is my long-lasting legacy.
At least it's an absence of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And not the creation of mosquitoes.
There.
Yeah. Wow. I think about what's going on with the Georgia Municipal Association. I go to their conference, and I'm a speaker there about alternative fuel vehicles. And then, I really think cities need to lead the way. And I congratulate you that. And then companies, our next guest, Jeff Goodyear, his company, I know they use compostable plates and cups and silverware. They've got those EV chargers. They've got this whole environmental department. And I just think that educating companies on this, with cities leading the way, it's not that hard for a company to start maybe doing one thing and then they add something else. I mean, have you seen that with the places that you've worked, Eric?
I haven't, and I think the key is we are an electric city. We own some of the output of a variety of plants, but we've been doubling down in terms of nuclear because it's non-emitting. But the other end of the spectrum is not just how the electricity is produced, but how it's used. And so we are looking at various opportunities to expand our efforts in terms of being a smart city, and that's going to involve EV chargers. And along that line, I mentioned the Amazon lockers, but one of our most recent customers is Amazon, and we've already put in the infrastructure to facilitate when they convert their last mile facility that's actually not in the city but nearby to all EV vehicles, and that's very valuable in the Atlanta metro area because we're a non-attainment area that still do emissions inspections, and so to help a company like Amazon convert to electric vehicles helps us sell power from a non-emitting source, but allows them to take internal combustion engines off the street and replace them with the EV vehicles. So,
Eric, what you've said is so important, and I've in conversation myself with Rivian, with Amazon will be using Rivian vans, electric vans for the most part. And folks that have seen vans delivered to their neighborhood, Amazon vans or whatever, oftentimes these vans are left idling. They run the package to the door and then they take off. So you're getting, this extra 20 to 30 seconds of idling at ground level with exhaust. And when they convert those vehicles that are running 10 hours a day to a non-emitting source, then they'll be running, but you won't know it because there's no tailpipe emissions. And I think everybody in the sustainability space, Eric, knows that plant emissions, that's an issue. Bill Gates estimated it at about 26% of the greenhouse gases that we have, but it's automobiles and trucks.
Sure.
The transportation sector is really the next frontier for environmental air quality. Don't you think?
I agree. And it'll be particularly important in the Atlanta metro area because of the need to address air quality here.
Well, I want to thank you for being on today, Eric, for the good work that you guys are doing in Norcross. And tell Mayor Newton hello and give him the mosquito report.
Will do. Thanks for the opportunity to join you.
All right, thank you. Hey, we're bringing Jeff Goodyear on. Jeff, have you seen the new library there in Norcross?
I haven't seen it yet. No, I haven't gone there. We have a new library in Duluth that I visited, and it looks very similar. It's very nice.
I might have to go visit there. I finished my 33rd book since January 1st this morning. So I need to visit a library so I can get some more books.
Wow. Well, Jeff, we had an opportunity to work together on just a very unique project in downtown Atlanta. It really kind of it crosses the sustainability curve as well when you look at the fact that streets out here are dirty and filthy, and garbage produces more germs and an issue with health and hygiene. Tell us about the project.
So we had talked about just like doing an outreach for homeless people to see like how could we get some help to some people that are looking for ways to get some money, and also like do something productive, because you go downtown city of Atlanta, there's trash like everywhere, and then you go to the state property and it's like perfectly like clean or whatever, and it's just like there's definitely a need to help people that need help, I think of like Jesus. What Jesus would want to do is he wanted to help like the most unfortunate people, are the people that wanted to like believe in him, the people that were like broken, and like they have problems with addiction or mental health. So we had talked about, just taking a couple $100 down there and just organizing a cleanup, just, going out with crews, having one person on each crew, and just like talking with them, loving on them, and then just picking up trash, really, just instead of just handing them money, like when you walk by them on the street, we were like, let's like participate in their lives, and I was skeptical at first. I was like, I don't know, they're not going to want to do something for $10. They're just going to want the free money, but they were the most hardworking people that I had ever seen in my life, and they were working harder than I was to pick up the garbage, and it impressed me, and it really like showed me that all they want is just somebody to like not look at them as trash, just to like, just go with them and act like they're human, they're humans, and that was like the biggest thing, is like after we were done, they were all like, oh, when are you guys coming back? When are you guys coming back to do this? And I was like, holy cow, man. They're really thirsty to do good work and to clean up the city,
Yeah. I mean, Faith, it wasn't just that we were having pity on someone and handing them something. Our team, which was Jeff and Tom Ty and Tim Beck, and we had one.
There was a guy from Georgia Power or something. What was
we
his
had
name?
Brian Fitzpatrick from a solar company. So we all brought our own money to pay $10 bills, and we gave them a safety vest, safety gloves, and a contractor's trash bag. But we spent time with them, Jeff. I think what people may not, who read the article about it or whatever, heard about it, may have missed that portion, that there was some relationship building, right? That we were with them. We weren't bossing them around. We were going with them and doing the task, and then we were giving them, a $10 bill as compensation for their time. So it was, I think, a positive experience for them and us.
Yeah, definitely. Just the conversations we had after it was over, just listening to each person had their own, like issues, like with why they were there, or how they were there. Like I said, a lot of the times it's addiction, it's mental health issues, and it's just, I think it's something that we as a public, if we became more involved with the people more unfortunate, that we would be able to prop them up and help them better,
Yeah. I joke, Faith, and say that, I'm not the commissioner of sanitation, but I could be, right? I do get joy from cleaning up an environment. Routinely pick up trash as I'm taking a walk. It aggravates my wife to death, that I'm slowing her pace down by picking up trash. And she said, "You need gloves. You shouldn't pick that up. Somebody's had their mouth on that straw." It's like, no, honey, I gotta pick this up. This is ugly. So So I guess if I lose my election, Jeff, I can always just be a volunteer commissioner of sanitation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Well-
I did a mission trip like to Colombia, and it was fascinating to me, like how clean, like the areas like where like even poor people were in Colombia.
Mhm.
It's just the people have nothing, but they respect their property so
Mhm.
much that it's just so clean. And it's like, yeah, we're in
Wow.
a slum with no trash on the ground. It's weird. You know,
Wow.
it's like everything is barely, you know, in America, it's just like people are just like, oh, somebody gets paid to clean this up.
Yeah.
And they just,
Yeah.
I sat in the highway one time and there's this truck in front of me, this diesel truck, and he's just, I can see him eating a taco, and he's just finishes the taco and he just throws it out the window. And then he reaches in his bag and grabs another one, puts his hot sauce on it, throws that out the window. And we're stuck in like a like highway you know, it's a traffic jam. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose my mind right now.
You're like, everybody can see you.
I know. He doesn't care though. So it's just like, it's just sad to me.
Wow.
You know?
Well, as we wrap up, Jeff, you heard the city manager talking about sustainability, and you work for a company right there in Norcross that really has done a lot with not only your recycling efforts, your own trash pickup effort along other streets, and the compostable, wares that you all use on a routine basis, and then your EV charger. So you want to say just a word about United and your sustainability efforts?
Yeah, it's great. You know, we have like, I think they planned 3 more like charging stations in the back, and like almost half our parking lot, it seems like all the close spots are all EV. So you want to get an EV vehicle because then you can just park like right in front of the building. The compostable stuff is great. Like, you know, it's all stuff that breaks down. Like we have, you know, the plates, the cups and all that. And it's just, and then the trash cleanup, we partner with, you know, I think we're partnered with the city of Norcross to clean up a stretch of road. And we have our own sign, and every, you know, 3 months we pick up trash for the city of Norcross. So it's great.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for being on. And I guess, Eric, I mean, if I lose my election, Eric, could I be you appoint me to like a commissioner of sanitation voluntary position or something?
Sure. With a specialty in mosquito control.
Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, you can view this stream on any of my Facebook pages, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. It will live there on all of these sites. And we will be back next week. Faith, where are we going? We have the Savannah St. Patrick's Day parade the next week. So
right. So we're
gonna
2
be
weeks off.
a little busy. How about the next week? Where are we going next?
So we'll be off for 2 weeks. And then on the 31st, we're coming back in Albany. So we'll wrap up March down there in Albany.
Great. Well, everyone, thanks for being on today, and we will see you next time on Community Focus. Thanks a lot.